Hey Trey, Paul and Nick here. We started doing a look over on the engine, and good news is that Nick says the Volvo Penta 270 outdrive is actually very common and still very popular, and so parts are available for it. That's pretty much the extent of the good news.
Yeah.
Well, also he said it looked like the rubber boot was brand new, but I got the impression from yesterday, maybe I misunderstood, that the rubber boot back here hadn't been changed in 30 years. But he says it appears to be pretty close to brand new, still soft and supple. So we just want to get some information on that, get some confirmation.
The drive does need oil, though. It's out of oil.
And the drive's out of oil. The drive's out of oil. So there's apparently there may be an oil leak. When we put the oil in it, we may find that there's a leak. We found the water pump impeller, and we were talking to you about how that needs to be replaced. You see how it has a memory? Those should be fanning out radially from the center. Also, inside this circulating pump, we found these pieces. Now, these pieces are from a previous rubber impeller. You'll note that this is the same. This is the end of the rubber impeller right here. Little round piece on the end of it, and so that's how that would have gone together. So these pieces of impeller looks like we have maybe 3 or 4 of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But we don't know. Of course, we don't know if all the pieces came apart. But typically, when we find an impeller that has blown up, we backflush the water systems to make and try to collect all the rest of the pieces of the impeller. We don't know. Obviously, these pieces did not come from this impeller, so we don't really know if all the pieces were removed, if all the pieces were found. If these were jammed in, you can kind of see where the shiny spots are, like right here. There's an impeller, piece of impeller there, piece of impeller over here. And they were jammed in there. I took them out before I thought about showing it to you before they were disturbed. But the other thing that Nick's had some experience with, he got an old pickup truck, or his friend had an old pickup truck, I guess, that we found when you see sludge on top of the intake manifold, you can pretty well count on it sat still long enough that there's sludge in the oil pan. We'll pull that dipstick real quick. Oh, yeah. I guess I could have got it. So the oil is pretty nasty, and my guess is that you probably have sludge. Oh, is that sludge on the backside by chance, right back here? No. Okay. I thought maybe it was sludge there for a second. But anyway, so we're guessing that there's a lot of sludge down in there. And once you run the engine and stir that up and then get it throughout the engine, that can cause you problems. So go ahead and show him the carburetor, the cruise control on the carburetor.
So this should move freely, and it is just glued in place. It'll stick and stay wherever you want it to. It should spring back, but it's really hard to move, and it doesn't want to come back.
So we need a carburetor rebuild. So with all that in mind, we're kind of wondering, I know you mentioned you have a full-time mechanic. Nick said if it was his motor, he would take it out, take the oil pan off, scrape all the crap out of the oil pan, and hopefully you find a bunch of crap so that that effort of removing it was not for nothing. And maybe re-ring it, disassemble it, re-ring it, and reassemble it and run it. We're not proposing you spend your money with us to do that, since you have a full-time mechanic working for you, but we would propose that you do that. So before we go any farther with this initial assessment, you may just want to have us pull the plug on what we're doing and we'll pull the motor out for you, and you can come get it and have your guy go through it. So let us know what you'd like to do, Yeah, he said that, you know, when he ran an engine that had the tattletale was the sludge on top, and when it had the sludge down in the engine, that once he circulated in the engine, he actually had to beat the valves out of it, beat everything out of it. So anyway, if we catch it now, and if you agree and you want to have your guy do that, that's pretty cool. We could, you know, change the oil and try to run it and stuff like that, but he's pretty sure that oil pan's full of sludge. So I think that's about covers it all, doesn't it?
Yeah, and this is automotive. Your distributor is. It's got a vacuum advance on it.
Okay, automotive distributor, and we're kind of suspecting. We haven't checked it yet, but we're kind of suspecting you got automotive carb. It may not be with this PVC positive crankcase ventilation valve arrangement is normal, and it would go into the carburetor. That's normal, but we're just not sure. We're going to get the number off of it and make sure it's a marine carburetor. And also, we're really puzzled about the angle on it. Usually, there would be a wedge that would keep your carburetor somewhat level. Yeah. Now, of course, when you get on plane or when you're trying to get on plane, that's going to go to closer to level, maybe even level, who knows. But anyway, so those are just the cautions that we've got. And like I say, we'll leave it to you if you guys want to do the work on it. If you want us to do it, that's fine too. We'll put a price together. Thanks a bunch.